distributor configuration right under country code. Okay, so on here we have what's called a block page right at the top. This just means that if you've done an admin sign up, so for some reason you're taking paper applications, the first time the guy goes to log in, it'll hit him with a block page where it confirms all the details that were entered by admin. It'll also give him the ability to change his username once. Okay, so down in display settings, show birthday, yes or no. So if you want to collect a birthday for any reason, or say you want to collect a birthday because you want to make sure that people are at least 16, again, be careful, there's privacy laws around it. Most of the time in North America you set the birthdays to no, and you would say in your policies and procedures you're agreeing that you're at least 16. But if you did want to collect birthday for some reason, and it's okay and your legal team has approved it, then by all means you can have the system collecting the birthday. Country code display on details forms. So this means that if you have if you are going international, you have the ability for the country code to be collected as a separate field rather than people putting it into their system. So rather than them putting it into the regular phone number area, they would actually put it in the specific country code area, which just gives you more flexibility when you're sifting and sorting your data. So I'm not sure. You guys are mostly North American based. You might be best to start with this as no, because most North Americans get confused by it. But how international do you think the following is when you do start getting into your major blasts? Okay, so then let's leave it as yes, because everyone in the world knows what a country code is except people in the US and Canada. Display upline levels. So this is where we're saying in the viewers, do we display the upline or not? Well, and again, no is wrong answer, but it's okay. Give me a second to explain it. If you make it so that the only guy he can see is me, and I brought him in, that's cool, and that works. But the reason why we show more is, if you're in a matrix, a 10 by 4 matrix like yours, in theory, there's 4 people who earn money from me. That means there should be 4 people I can reach out to for help should I need it. So if you don't show anybody their upline, guess where they go for help? The company. So you need more staff. But if you show them their upline support team, meaning the 4 people above them who all have a direct interest in their earnings, it can take some stress off support. So I would actually recommend in this case, upline personally sponsored would be set to 1. So that means I get to see the guy who personally enrolled me. Upline placement means I can see, I'd set that to 4. And again, this is based upon us going with the 4 by 10. If it changes, we'll change this. So this means that I can see the person directly above me, the person above him, the person above him, and the person above him. So if I'm deep in an upline's levels, I'm going to see my 4 support guys and my direct sponsor. In most cases, my direct sponsor will be one of the 4 people I'm seeing in the other way as well. Enable personal details macro on home page. This allows you to have, when they get to the home page, it says you can actually add some macros that'll say this is my name, this is my phone number, all of this. Not actually a good idea, okay, because what happens is when you start doing that, you become a target for data scrapers. There's already an About Me page where they can write about themselves and tell their story, upload their picture. So if you put too many personal details on the front page, and again, it doesn't enable them, this just enables the macros to work. But if you put too many details on the front page, you'll become a target for data scrapers. So you want to be always careful how much personal details you exhibit. Now, in your situation, the data scraping is the one negative. In an MLM environment, it's a double whammy. If you're automatically showing my personal details, and I happen also to be a Melaleuca distributor, you're jeopardizing my Melaleuca income. So you always want to be careful what you automatically show, but allowing members to be stupid and show stuff themselves is a safer way to go. So these macros just allow you to manipulate what shows. What you'll find in our system is there's a lot of things that it can do that I completely disagree with. And the reason why is I may disagree with it, but it's not up to me to force a client to my ideas. Okay, so this is one of those things that I completely disagree with, but lots of clients want to do it. So I give them my speech, and then they can configure it however they want. And then, of course, it becomes my problem because they configure it to show all the details, and next thing you know it, we've got a hack attack out of China scraping our database and pounding the crap out of our server. But welcome to my world. I I'll be honest with you, this is a pretty new feature. I don't know if it makes it automatic or not. I'll have to check on that. I think all it does is enables the macros to be used. I don't know that it actually... Okay, so let's move on. That's what it's for. I'm going to set it to no because for now I think that's the better setting. And then you guys can think about what you want to do, and you can change it to yes and get Clayton to teach you how to actually populate the macros should you want them. Show phone on Genealogy. Again, I recommend no for this. What this is saying is in the genealogy report, show the phone number. Well, again, the genealogy report is not all the people you personally enrolled. So therefore, I don't recommend showing that information. And same as the name. It's really none of the business of the upline of the people they didn't sponsor who their names are. And if you personally sponsored, you'll know who they are. So we recommend no and no for these by default. Okay. Show sponsored count, no. And the reason why, again, is show sponsored count means there's a report that's a top, sort of the top recruiters listing. And the top recruiters listing shows the person who sponsored the most people today, I think in the last hour, today, this week, this month, this year, and all time. You have the ability to have it show how many they've enrolled as well. That's what the sponsored count means. The reason why it's not a good idea to show is if you do have, well, there's a number of reasons. But first reason is if you have a guy who's a powerhouse and you sponsored 48 guys, the number is instantly too big for anyone to think they can compete with it. So the report is supposed to induce people to go, well, I want to be the top of that list. Well, if one guy legitimately brought in 48 guys, until that guy is sort of down deep enough in the list for the month or the year so that people can feel they have a chance today, the motivation factor of the report is gone. Number two problem is, if it's reading zeros, or sorry, not zeros, but like ones, and the guy that's the top promoter has enrolled one guy this hour, which is also this week, this month, that's fine. But when it becomes the only place he shows up is on this month, and it's one guy, you see again, everyone's looking at it and going, your company's going nowhere. So there's no real good that comes of showing the sponsor count. But again, we don't like to argue with clients. We prefer clients to make up their own mind. But we highly recommend this is set to no, because it seldom leads to anything positive. The only time it would be set to yes, in my opinion, is if you're running a particular promotion and you're a stable enough company to know that numbers will be there. Once you're rocking and you know that there's just a pile of people flooding in and you start to see that it's pretty even, you know, there's no one guy blowing the rest out of the water for some reason, and you know it's safe and stable, you might turn it on. But be careful, because the minute your company slows down, so you just got to be real careful. It seldom gives you a piece of information that will make everybody happy. It's going to frustrate half no matter what. Either it's growing too fast so it's too late, or it's growing too slow so it's no good. Okay, so just be careful with it. Required email downline approval. So this means, does the company interfere with the members? In other words, I send an email blast to my group. Does the company want to approve it before it goes out, or do you want it to go out automatically? Normally, we make this a no to start, and that's because in the beginning, nobody's doing anything wrong. If you run into a bit of a problem where suddenly you have a competitor out there and you've got distributor groups that might be considering moving to them and that kind of thing, you would come back and set this to yes, because you don't want them cross-sponsoring within your system. Member-to-member emails enabled. This just means in the friendship area we have, sort of the Facebook features we have, do you want to allow them to send emails from person to person? We recommend yes. And downline email preference, do you want it to be able to send to everybody? In other words, I send a blast, it goes to everyone in my group, or only my personals. Our recommendation in today's environment is personals only, because it does get abused quite a bit. But it can be switched. And then send credit card expiry warning email. Again, this is one of those weird things that if you send a guy a warning email, usually you're just reminding him to go and quit. So by not sending it, he expires next month. By sending it, he expires this month. First of all, emails are not 100% deliverable. At best, in today's climate, if you send out an email blast, 70% will get it. So if you're sending out credit card expiry emails and your members get comfortable that there is one, guess what happens the minute a guy's card expires and he loses out on commissions? It's instantly your fault because he didn't get the expiry email. So by sending them out, you actually open this other can of whoop-ass on yourself, where now the members have an excuse as to why you should be fixing their problem. Where if you just don't send it out and it's their responsibility, then it's just their responsibility. They can't blame it on your system not sending them the email. Does that make sense? So again, there's lots of reasons for why it's a bad idea in today's climate. But it's a hard thing to sell that it's a bad idea, because everyone thinks, well, hang on, no, it's better. It's actually not. It just opens up a bunch of stuff that isn't good, in my opinion. And then down at the bottom, we just have the friendship settings. So enable friendship. So if you turn that off, then that little newsreel friendship thing goes away. Do you allow friends from outside the upline and downline? We recommend yes, until you have a problem with it, right? Because, in MLM, lots of times I'm friends with a guy that I met at a meeting or whatever that's not in my downline or upline. New sign up all downline to become friends? I don't think so. You could, but that just means a real performer is going to have thousands and thousands of friends. What does it mean? Maybe with your target market, that's good because it's a badge of honor. But definitely the people you personally sponsor, we recommend would automatically become friends.